My fiancé, who claimed to be child-free, tricked me into going abroad for a year to study. It turned out the real reason was so she could have a baby for her childhood friend. That same childhood friend posted a picture of her from the delivery room on Facebook with the caption, "To the best childhood friend in the world, the Carter family finally has an heir." When I saw our mutual friends in the comments section urging them to get married, I was so furious that I impulsively left a comment of my own. "May you live happily ever after," I wrote, "and may your family line end with you." My fiancée, Isabella, immediately blew up my phone. She was screaming the second I answered, "What's with the passive-aggressive comment? I was just fulfilling a childhood promise I made to him." I hung up, immediately canceled the reception venue, and decided the wedding was off. I had just finished getting the deposits back for everything before I even had a chance to tell her parents. Then, Isabella came back. She had just given birth and looked weak, but the moment she walked through the door, she started attacking me. "Did you delete that comment?" she demanded. "You have no idea how much you embarrassed Leo." She walked right up to me and tried to lean in close, but my expression was stone cold. My fiancée had tricked me into leaving the country so she could secretly have a baby for her childhood friend, Leo. When Isabella and I first started dating, she told me she was child-free by choice. She said she disliked kids and would only marry me if I accepted a life without them. My parents are very traditional, and it took a monumental effort to get them on board with our decision. Yet here Isabella was, publicly having a child for another man. It was never about the risks of childbirth. It was that I was not the one she was willing to risk it for. A year ago, right after I proposed, she went with me to the hospital for my vasectomy. She said she wanted to be absolutely sure and that it would give her peace of mind. Looking back on it now, I realize what a complete and total idiot I have been. Isabella reached for my arm, but I pulled away. "Davis, please don't be angry," she pleaded. "Nothing happened between Leo and me. I didn't cheat on you." She insisted she had not been unfaithful and that I was the only one she had ever been with. "It was IVF," she explained, with no physical contact involved, and she swore she had not betrayed me. I almost laughed in her face. "You told me you were traumatized because your mother almost bled to death giving birth to you. You said you would never, ever have children, but for Leo, suddenly all that fear is gone." "I owed it to him," she shot back, her eyes red and defiant. "He was seriously injured saving my life years ago, and it left him impotent. What is wrong with giving him a child in return? He saved my life. Can you stop being so unreasonable?" She insisted it was just IVF, adding that the Carter family was more than capable of raising the child, and that it would not be our responsibility. "It is just to give the Carter family an heir, that is all. Besides, I came straight to you right after giving birth, without any time to recover, because I was worried you would get the wrong idea." Isabella's voice softened, as if she was doing me a favor by offering an explanation. I was so enraged I could not even speak, my hand holding my phone, trembling uncontrollably. The woman I had loved for so many years had lied to me, deceived me, had a child for another man, and was now telling me not to be jealous. "We're done," I said. "The wedding is off." With a sudden crash, Isabella slammed a teacup on the table, shattering it. A shard flew up and cut my forehead. "Why can't you just understand? I could not live with myself owing Leo such a debt. He saved my life, and I had to repay him." Blood trickled down from the cut on my forehead. In that moment, I could not feel the physical sting at all, only the unbearable ache in my chest. Isabella saw the blood and rushed over, saying she would bandage it for me. "Get away from me," I snarled. I locked myself in the study that night, chain-smoking one cigarette after another and wondering what I had ever done to deserve this. The next morning, the cut on my forehead had gotten worse, so I had to go to the hospital to get it looked at. The house was empty. Isabella was gone. When I got to the hospital, I saw her. Isabella was holding the baby, with Leo trailing right behind her carrying her purse. The three of them stood there, looking as natural and happy as a perfect little family. "Your husband is so careless," a nurse was saying to her. "He did not even mix the formula properly before feeding the baby." No wonder the little one choked and started screaming. Isabella looked flustered and promised it would not happen again, seemingly accepting the title of Leo's wife without a second thought. Once the baby finally calmed down, Isabella looked at Leo. "From now on, I will just breastfeed," she said. "I am producing milk," Leo replied. "Won't that be an imposition? I mean, you and Davis are about to get married." I stood a short distance away, listening as Isabella thoughtfully explained why breastfeeding was better. I clenched my fists, watching them huddled together in a picture of domestic bliss. Isabella cooed at the baby in her arms, showing no sign of the resentment she had shown me. "Be a good boy," she whispered. "You have your daddy's eyes. I would rather he look like you." "You are the beautiful one," Leo said with a smile, though he seemed hesitant. "Isabella, what is it?" Isabella asked. She looked up at him with an expression of pure, innocent devotion. "Do not you worry," she said. "Even after I am married, I will still be his biological mother. You can call me whenever you need anything." There had always been a third person in my relationship with Isabella. On our first anniversary, right in the middle of our romantic dinner, Leo called to ask for a ride from the airport, and she left me there without a moment of hesitation. On countless holidays, when I wanted it to be just the two of us, Leo would always show up under the guise of just hanging out with his best friend. Sometimes he would even get a hotel room next to ours. And now, she had even born a child for him. I turned to leave, not wanting a confrontation, but Leo's sharp eyes caught me. "Davis, what a coincidence," he called out. "Are you here to see the baby too?" "See the baby? Not a chance in hell. What are you doing here?" Isabella demanded, her face filled with disgust. "Do you distrust me that much? Do you have to follow my every move?" Leo, on the other hand, played the peacemaker. "He is just concerned, Isabella. I appreciate the thought, Davis. Do not worry. I will get you two a huge wedding gift." "Do not bother," I said flatly. "We are not getting married." "What are you talking about? Are you really going to make a scene here?" Isabella hissed, grabbing my arm and trying to pull me aside. She told me not to say things like that in front of Leo, but I yanked my arm free. For the past few days, Leo had been posting photos of the baby's mother on his Facebook, never showing her full face, but making it obvious who she was. People in the comments were already calling her Mrs. Carter and telling them to get married. Good for them. After all, they already had the kid. When I got home, I had no idea how to explain it to my parents, but my dad had already gotten a call from the venue about the cancellation. He was furious, telling me marriage is not a game. "All our relatives know you are getting married," he said. "Couples fight. That is no reason to call off the entire wedding." "He is right, Davis," my mom added. "You practically begged us to give our blessing, saying Isabella was the only woman you would ever marry." She could not understand it either, saying it was obvious how much I loved Isabella, so why would I suddenly call it all off? The dam of emotions I had been holding back for days finally broke. I rarely cry. I'm the type to bury my feelings and deal with them quietly. But I just could not understand. I loved her so much, so why would she do something to intentionally hurt me this badly? Back in college, Isabella was not like this. She was like a ray of sunshine in my life, always laughing. When I was starting my business and we hit rough patches when money was so tight we lived in a tiny apartment eating ramen noodles, she promised we would always be together. She was my strength, my rock. How did she become this person? "Isabella was not studying abroad this past year," I said, the words tasting like ash. "She was having a baby for Leo." My parents were stunned into silence. "But I thought she did not want children," my mom finally stammered. "Why would she have one for someone else?" My parents both said they supported my decision. Being cheated on so blatantly was unacceptable, and they agreed it was better not to get married. A relationship where one person makes all the sacrifices is bound to fail. My parents called Isabella's parents and asked them to come over so we could all discuss the situation face to face. After all, we had given them substantial pre-wedding gifts, including a new car and help with a down payment on a house. This required a conversation between our families. When Mr. Johnson heard the wedding was off, he immediately demanded to know why. My father explained the entire situation, and Isabella's father looked deeply embarrassed. Mrs. Johnson's hands were trembling. Isabella can be foolish, she said, but Leo, we have known him since he was a boy. I am sure Isabella was just trying to repay him for saving her life. That is no excuse for this, my mother replied gently. My mom is a reasonable woman. If it is not meant to be, then it is best to end things now. Isabella's mother stared at us. You are calling off the wedding, and you expect us to return all the gifts? Mr. Johnson, who moments ago had been apologizing for Isabella's behavior, suddenly changed his tune. You cannot be serious. There is no way you're getting everything back for free. The moment my parents mentioned wanting the gifts returned, his entire demeanor shifted. Just then, Isabella walked in and saw the tense standoff. Davis, what is this? This is something we should be handling privately. She actually thought I was just threatening to break up with her to get my way. She kept promising she would make it up to me, admitting that she knew it was not fair. But Leo and I are just friends. We never crossed any lines. Do not spread lies in front of our parents. The room was thick with tension when my phone rang. It was an unknown number, but when I answered, I heard Leo's frantic voice on the other end. Davis, can you help me find Isabella? I cannot reach her, and the baby will not stop crying. I think he needs his mom. Why the hell are you calling me to find her? I snapped before hanging up and blocking his number. Isabella shot me a look of pure rage. You are so unbelievably petty, Davis. She immediately called Leo back. I am on my way, she said, her voice tight with anxiety. I could hear the baby wailing in the background. My mother stepped forward to stop her, wanting to resolve the situation here first. But Isabella brushed my mother's hand away, saying, the baby needs his mother. My mom just stood there, looking utterly defeated. There is nothing left to discuss, my mom said, her voice heavy. Just return the money and the gifts, and my Davis will count it as a loss. We will not tell anyone what happened, to save Isabella some dignity. Return the money? You must be joking. Mrs. Johnson shot up from her seat, pointing a finger at my mother. They have been together for years. They have slept together. What does Davis think, that he can just use my daughter and walk away without paying a price? I cannot believe their audacity, causing a scene in our home. Not only were they refusing to return anything, they were now demanding my parents pay them for emotional damages. My Isabella gave your son the best years of her life. Mrs. Johnson shrieked. It is only fair we get some compensation for that. You people, my mom sputtered, completely incensed. I decided there was no point in continuing the conversation. It was time to show them the door and let the police handle it. There was nothing left to say to Isabella, and I was done being polite. But Mrs. Johnson kept ranting, her words growing uglier by the second. Your son is just a jealous, petty man. Without our Isabella, let us see who he will ever marry. He will regret this, I promise you. He will die an old, lonely bachelor. You are not getting a dime back, she spat. You could take my life first. My mother was so enraged she could barely breathe. Her eyes rolled back in her head, and she collapsed. My dad rushed to her side, terrified. I called 911 immediately, tried to calm my mom down and telling her not to get so worked up, but I knew this was far from over. As for Isabella, I was not going to let her get away with this. My mom was rushed into the emergency room, and my dad and I spent the entire night waiting anxiously in the hallway. While scrolling on my phone, I stumbled upon Leo's Facebook page. He had posted a picture of Isabella breastfeeding the baby in the middle of the night, with the intimate details blurred out. The caption read, I am the happiest man in the world. Isabella had commented with a single blushing emoji, all but confirming their relationship. I quietly blocked Leo on everything. Out of sight, out of mind. Thankfully, my mom was going to be okay. I let out a breath I did not realize I was holding. The doctor warned us that she needed to avoid any stress for a while. I am so useless, my mom whispered. Later, she said she had just been so angry on my behalf and did not realize how frail she had become. I told her firmly that she and Dad did not need to worry about it anymore. Your only job is to rest and get better, I said. I will get her money back, and I will make Isabella apologize to you both. She just sighed. My mom lamented how such a happy occasion had turned into such an ugly mess. Just because the Johnsons had no class did not mean we had to sink to their level. I was not going to argue with them anymore. I contacted my lawyer and filed a police report. The next day, Isabella showed up at the hospital with fruit baskets and gifts, saying she wanted to see my mom. She claimed she never expected things to get so serious. "Davis, I am so sorry," she said. "I apologize for what happened. But we have been together for so long. Do we really need to make things this ugly?" She looked at me, her eyes pleading, her voice barely a whisper and thick with tears. "Please, let us not break up. I saw the plans for the wedding decor you arranged, and the custom gown you ordered for me is almost ready. Let us go for the fitting," she begged. I used to dream about my wedding day with Isabella. I would picture her walking down the aisle in her white dress, the most beautiful bride in the world. But that dream shattered the moment she decided to get pregnant for Leo. No, it shattered long before that, with their tangled, inappropriate relationship. I was just so tired of her constantly crossing the line. A moment later, Leo appeared, holding out an envelope of cash. "I want to explain," he said. "I have only ever seen Isabella as a little sister, Davis, that is all." He insisted that if anything was ever going to happen between them, it would have happened years ago. "Do not take advantage of her love for you and act like a tyrant," Leo said, stepping in front of Isabella protectively. "I am practically her family at this point." "That is hilarious," I said coldly. "In that case, it is perfect. I will transfer the venue reservation and address to you. You two can get married instead." "What is that supposed to mean, Davis?" Leo's face flushed with anger. He said that for Isabella's sake and to keep the peace, he was willing to apologize, but that did not give me the right to humiliate them. "Hasn't Isabella told you we are broken up? The wedding is off. As for your money, take it back. Use it for your son's 1-month birthday party." "You," Leo hissed, his face turning pale. He swung at me, but I ducked out of the way. "How can you treat Isabella like this? Are you even a man, Davis?" So he wanted to fight. Fine by me. I had hated this guy for years. Every time Isabella and I went on a date, he would find a way to insert himself. If Isabella bought me a gift, he would demand the same one. He would borrow the designer things I bought for her and never return them. He drove my car. He used my fiancée to have a child. I had been so thoroughly cheated on, it was a miracle I was not glowing green. Yet he had the nerve to say I was the one who had wronged Isabella. I landed punch after punch on Leo. We fought for a long time until someone called the cops, and we both ended up at the police station. After we were separated and lectured, Isabella looked at me with resentment. I tried to apologize, Davis. "You are the one who would not accept it." "That is right," I said. "Fine, do not come crying to me when you regret this." Isabella took Leo's arm, dabbing at the blood on his face with a tissue. "I should have listened to you," she said to him. "I should have dumped this petty, jealous man a long time ago." "Do not be sad. I will find you someone better," Leo cooed. They were so disgustingly close. Watching them walk away together, all I could do was laugh. I walked out into the rain and just kept walking, not caring where I was going. My chest felt tight, like I could not breathe. I had genuinely loved Isabella. I was smitten from the first moment I saw her in college, when this vibrant, energetic girl brought water for our soccer team. She walked right up to me and asked for my number, then said, "Davis, do you have a girlfriend?" I was a little stunned at first, but I told her I did not. "Then can I be your girlfriend?" she asked. It feels like I can still hear her voice saying those words. We had our ups and downs over the years, arguments and even a few breakups, but I always thought we would make it from the college campus to the wedding altar. In the end, though, we were defeated by the third person in our relationship. "Sir, you need to see this," my assistant, Emily, said in a panicked phone call. "You are being dragged online. They're calling you the worst kind of scumbag." Isabella had posted a long story online, accusing me of canceling our wedding out of petty jealousy. She even included a photo of herself in her wedding dress. It was framed as an innocent question to the public, but it was clearly designed to make me the villain. She claimed I dumped her because she did not want kids, and that I was demanding back not only the pre-wedding gifts, but also our shared property and every present I had ever given her. The comments were a firestorm of hate directed at me. People accuse me of using her for years and call me emotionally unstable, a psycho. They spouted slogans about how women are not baby-making machines and call me a misogynist stuck in the dark ages. Some commenters said Isabella had dodged a bullet and that it was a good thing the wedding was off. I try to defend you, but I'm getting buried in hate mail, Emily sighed. And it is getting worse. Someone doxed our business locations, and people are starting to show up and cause trouble at the stores. I rub my temples. I never thought Isabella would stoop this low. Close the shop for now, I told Emily. Make sure the employees are safe. I was not going to let my staff get hurt because of my personal drama. If this was how Isabella wanted to play, then fine. Two can play at that game. But why did you break up? You guys were just telling us about your future plans, Emily started to ask. Later, I cut her off and hung up. This was not the time for gossip. I needed to launch a counteroffensive, and fast. I had plenty of material to work with. Isabella had left me a mountain of evidence. The fact that she could have a baby for Leo and still have the nerve to paint herself as the victim online was astounding. My parents had wanted to be discreet to protect her reputation, but clearly she did not care about that at all. Fine. She should not blame me for what came next. I made a post of my own on Twitter. I laid all out. The story of how Isabella tricked me into leaving the country. The delivery room picture Leo had posted on Facebook and screenshots of her messages begging me for forgiveness. I ended it with a simple statement. I cannot marry a woman who would have a baby for another man. I included financial records showing that the gifts I supposedly demanded back were things she had secretly bought for Leo using my credit card. I also proved that the car and house were solely paid for by me. The tide of public opinion turned almost instantly, though some people still accused me of faking the evidence. A lot of troll accounts tried to muddy the waters, claiming it was all just my side of the story. Then Emily sent me a link. Isabella is live on TikTok right now, she wrote. She is crying. She is saying she stood by you when you had nothing, and now that you are successful, you have thrown her away. I remained calm, refusing to get trapped in a cycle of defending myself. I knew what the core issue was. I did not make a public appearance, but I did spend some money to boost my post since it was not getting much traction on its own. Emily said that was not enough, that Isabella would continue to control the narrative that way. I listened to Isabella's live stream, where she sat in her wedding dress, expertly playing the victim and spinning one sob story after another. Back then, when his business failed, we lived in a cold, damp basement apartment, and the thought of leaving him never once crossed my mind. She cried. He ordered this dress for me. We were supposed to get married next month, but he has always been so jealous of my friendship with my childhood friend. Isabella was a convincing crier. She looked so pitiful, it was easy to feel sorry for her. People in the chat were comforting her, saying she was better off and that it does not take long to see a man's true colors once he gets a little money and success. Suddenly, just as Isabella seemed to have the audience in the palm of her hand, a flood of new comments poured in. People started spamming the chat, asking about the baby. The questions quickly overwhelmed her sob story, and a lot of neutral viewers became curious. I thought you were child-free. Does that just mean child-free with your husband, but not with other men? One comment read. Another asked, is it true you had a baby for your childhood friend, that you tricked your fiancé into leaving the country so you could get pregnant? You are unbelievable, a third person wrote. You cheat on the guy, expect him to just take it, and then you try to destroy his reputation online when he dumps you? That is not true. Isabella snapped, her knuckles white as she clenched her fists. I never said a bad word about him. I was just reminiscing about the good times we had. Just answer the question. Did you have a baby with your childhood friend? Someone demanded. It is true. Another user chimed in. I saw her at the hospital myself. Finally, Isabella broke. Yes, she admitted through gritted teeth. It is true. We have a child together. The chat exploded. There was no way she could hide it now. And I still had more evidence I had not even used yet, like the photos of her and Leo being far too intimate. But I was repaying a debt, she cried into the camera. He was injured saving my life and could not have children. His family line was going to end. It was IVF. There was no physical contact. The live stream was quickly spiraling out of her control. Emily sent me an iMessage, clearly pleased with herself. See, that is how you do it. It does not matter what she says, you just have to hit them where it hurts. I sent her a thumbs up emoji. She explained that is how you have to play the game online. No one cares about you defending yourself. You have to put the other person on the defensive. Since Isabella was the one in the wrong, she had no choice but to abruptly end the live stream and stop trying to manipulate the narrative. Still, there were plenty of people on social media who continued to insult and harass me. I even got a few text messages from a number I did not recognize. It was Isabella. I had blocked her everywhere else after a fight. Davis, we need to talk, the message read. This is having a serious impact on my life. People are calling me a gold digger, saying I cheated on you. But you're the only one I have ever loved. She claimed that if she had truly loved Leo, she never would have gotten together with me in the first place. Please, just meet with me, Davis. I blocked the number. Now that she was the one getting hurt, she wanted to call a truce. Soon after, another batch of photos surfaced online, this time showing her and Leo in very compromising positions. A few of our old college friends had initially messaged me, suggesting I should not air our dirty laundry in public. They said we had been together for years and should try to part amicably. But after the news about the baby broke, those same friends started sending me supportive messages, telling me to keep my chin up. I was fine. I respected Isabella's choice. My mom was recovering well in the hospital. Emily stopped by with a huge gift basket. This is from everyone at the office, she said. They wanted me to bring it over. That is so thoughtful of them, my mom said. Thank you. My mom whispered that she wanted to go home, that she hated being in the hospital, but the doctors insisted on keeping her for observation a little longer. Mrs. Miller, Emily said cheerfully, there's a great new series out. Let me pull it up for you. Emily stayed for a while, chatting with my mom and making her laugh. My dad pulled me out into the hallway. Davis, about this thing with Isabella, he started. Maybe it is time to back off a little. She is still a young woman. He was telling me not to completely destroy her. I nodded and said I understood. My parents have always been too soft-hearted. It was Isabella who took this public in the first place. When I was the one being called a monster and a user, nobody defended me. Even my old college friends were making passive-aggressive jokes in our group chat and tagging Isabella to offer her their sympathy. Mr. Miller, I came to see how Mrs. Miller is doing. It was Isabella again. Stay back, I said coldly, blocking her from getting any closer to the room. She claimed she was there to apologize to my family for everything she had done. But then her eyes landed on Emily, who was sitting by my mom's bedside, making her laugh, and Isabella's entire demeanor changed. She pointed a shaking finger at Emily. No wonder you were so quick to dump me, she sneered. You already have my replacement lined up. I cannot believe I ever trusted you, Davis. Do not be ridiculous. That is my assistant, I said, telling her to leave before she caused a scene. She laughed, a bitter, ugly sound. So I was the fool, all along? Is that why you were always working late? Because of this little homewrecker? She was being completely irrational. It was true that I had been busier since the company took off, but I had always made Isabella my priority. I replied to her texts instantly because I never wanted her to feel neglected or jealous. I rarely stayed overnight on business trips, even driving back late from other cities, because I worried she would not be comfortable alone. When I had to travel internationally, I would video chat with her constantly because I knew she worried. I gave her every reason to feel secure, but her heart had slowly, piece by piece, drifted to Leo. You little tramp, get out here. Isabella screamed towards a room. I want to see what is so special about this assistant. Stop making baseless accusations, I yelled back. If you're going to have a meltdown, do it at your own home. Emily heard the commotion and stepped out of the room, her expression cool and professional. It is all right, Mr. Miller, she said, then turned to Isabella. Say one more word, and I will sue you for slander. Isabella scoffed. Oh, so now you're ganging up on me with your little mistress? Isabella started crying again, big, dramatic tears rolling down her cheeks. Emily's voice was like ice. If I were you, I would be more concerned with figuring out how you and your baby's father are going to pay Mr. Miller back. Isabella looked completely unhinged. Leo is just my best friend, she shrieked at me. Am I not allowed to have friends just because I am in a relationship? You are always so busy with work. Leo was the one who took me out to dinner and went shopping with me. When I had cramps, he was the one who brought me a heating pad. That is enough, Miss Johnson, Emily cut in sharply. Stop with the pity party. Without Mr. Miller, what would you and your precious childhood friend have been living on? The house, the car, the designer clothes, the money you gave your little freeloader friend. Where do you think all that came from? You cannot have it both ways, Miss Johnson. Emily's words were devastatingly precise. Yes, your childhood friend is a very good friend indeed. So good, in fact, that you decided to have a baby together. You only had his baby. Why on earth would Mr. Miller want to break up with you over something so trivial? Emily's sarcasm was biting. I have never met anyone quite like you. We are both women. Have some self-respect. The Millers wanted to handle this quietly, but you insisted on dragging it online. Now that you have lost the argument, you are accusing him of sicking the internet on you. Fine, Emily finished. Let's call the police and let them sort out who is really at fault here. Isabella opened her mouth to retort several times, but no words came out. Finally, she turned to me, her voice small. Do you really not love me anymore? She asked, wondering if I was really throwing her away. Just go, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. It was the most civil thing I could manage. I would not scream at her, and I would never hit her. Okay, she whispered and left. Her slumped shoulders and defeated posture almost made her look pitiful. Emily turned to me. Sorry about that, she said. I cannot help myself. I figured it was better to let her know I am not an easy target before she started spreading rumors about me. It is fine, I said. She was my ex-fiancée now. Her problems were not my problems. Emily patted my shoulder. If you're feeling down, a few of us from the office are going out for drinks later. You should come unwind. The old me would have said no. My life revolved around Isabella and our home. I rarely went to company gatherings because I did not want to come home smelling like a bar. The only exceptions were mandatory events. On those nights, I would come home drunk, and she would take care of me, making me soup and comforting me. I really thought we would be happy forever. At the bar, it was just a group of colleagues. Emily was a social butterfly, making sure everyone was having a good time. The VP, Alex Riley, raised his glass to me. He toasted to finally escaping that nightmare. We told you she was bad news, Alex said, clapping me on the back. We could all see how she favored that pretty boy freeloader, but you were too stubborn to listen. Let's not talk about her, I said. Bad juju, Alex agreed. Tonight is on me. Let us just have a good time. Alex sat down next to me. I heard Leo's latest business venture went bust. And that car he drives, Isabella secretly paid for it. And he still has not paid her back, right? Yeah, I confirmed. The guy's a total parasite, Alex scoffed. He got a lot of business through us because of his connection with Isabella. He probably made a killing. He added that if I wanted to play hardball, a quick audit of those past deals would likely give Leo a massive headache. The debts were already making Leo's life difficult. There was no need to rush. Just as the night was getting into full swing, the door to our private room burst open. It was Leo, and he had brought a group of thuggish-looking guys with him. With a loud crash, a bottle shattered against the wall. Nobody gets to bully Isabella. Leo snarled, his face contorted with rage. So it was you, he spat, pressing the jagged edge of the broken bottle against my throat. You are the one who's been cheating on her, you bastard. My colleagues were terrified. Leo had always been trouble. He dropped out of high school years ago and had been drifting ever since. I just laughed. You've got a real talent for twisting the truth, have you not? Shut up, he hissed, pressing the glass harder against my skin. I've got nothing to lose, and you are the one who pushed me to this. I was not scared. I knew I could take him in a fight, but I wanted him to suffer more than that. Have you thought about what happens to your newborn son if you go to prison? I asked calmly. Do not you threaten me, he sneered. I'm not afraid of you. He accused me of making his life a living hell. His business was failing, and he owed me money, though he did not seem to mind when he was spending it. Those were gifts from Isabella, he yelled. Why should I have to pay you back for them? You should ask Isabella whose credit card paid for them, I said. Go on, do it. One move, and you will be locked up for a very long time. Leo was clearly unstable. From the corner of my eye, I saw Emily discreetly calling the police. She looked terrified. Sir, please do not provoke him, she whispered. What if he actually does something? Leo's hand was shaking. He demanded that I forgive his debts and apologize to Isabella, or he would kill me right then and there. He was really committed to this self-destructive path. I gave you a chance, I told him, just as the police burst through the door. Leo lunged at me, but I was ready for him. Someone screamed. Emily jumped. Sir, you scared us half to death, she exclaimed once things had calmed down. That was so risky. Were you not afraid he was actually crazy enough to do it? Not a chance, I said. He has his precious Isabella and his son to think about. Leo is a coward. He would never risk losing them. I was betting on that. As the police dragged him away, Leo was still struggling, yelling that the worst mistake of his life was not stopping me from dating Isabella. If I had just said yes when she confessed her feelings for me back then, none of this would have ever happened to you. All right, that is enough. Shut up, one of the officers said. We were all taken to the station. I had no intention of forgiving Leo or agreeing to any kind of mediation. It was assault with a deadly weapon. He could rot in jail for all I cared. As for the money he owed me, my lawyer could start the collection process immediately. After we gave her statements, I apologized to my colleagues for ruining the night, but they all insisted they were just glad I was okay. I saw Isabella rushing into the station. She was obviously there to bail out Leo. When she saw me, her face was a mask of shock. Davis, I am so sorry, she pleaded. Leo was just distraught. It was all a misunderstanding. Can you please help him? She explained that Leo had a family to support, a company to run, a sick father, and a newborn baby at home. No, I said flatly. That is your problem, not mine. He tried to kill me. I am pressing charges for assault, and I will not accept any deals, so you can give up right now. Why are you being like this? She sobbed. Is it just because he is my friend? Do you have to completely destroy him? I did not hear the rest. I just walked away. I was done wasting my energy on her. Sir, it is snowing, Emily said, offering me her umbrella. I shook my head and kept walking. It was the first snow of the year. I remember the day I first told Isabella the first loved her. It was snowing heavily then, too. The moment she said yes, it felt like my whole world had lit up. I was so happy I ran laps around the campus green in a blizzard. That part of my life was over now. You are really going to be stubborn about this, huh? Do not come crying to me when you catch a cold. Emily sighed, following behind me with the umbrella. You know, you did not have to put yourself in danger like that. If you had gotten hurt, your parents would have been devastated. Leo would not have dared, I said. That confident, huh? Emily replied, keeping pace with me. My VP, Alex, was ruthless. His investigation uncovered that Leo had been embezzling funds and was involved in several illegal business practices. That, combined with the assault charge, was more than enough to put him away for a long time. There were still people attacking me online, but I did not care anymore. 3 years later, I went to a college reunion. I usually skip these things, but a few of my old classmates had reached out, saying they wanted to apologize. We were out of line back then, one of them said. We just thought since we were all friends that you and Isabella should part amicably. We had no idea what she was really like. Stop, I said, cutting them off. There is no need for you to badmouth her just to get on my good side. They told me about Isabella's life now. After Leo went to prison, she was left to help the Carter family raise the child. Since she was the mother, it was her responsibility. I had spoiled her rotten. She had never held a real job, and now she was finding it almost impossible to enter the workforce. She was working manual labor jobs, but the money she made was barely enough to support the child and help Leo's sick father. Not to mention, her own parents were still draining her dry. She never had enough, but that was the life she chose. If you ask me, her problem was that she had it too easy, someone commented. That is why she took your love for granted. I'm so sorry, Davis. A weak voice sounded from behind me. The table went silent. It was Isabella. She had heard about the reunion and showed up. I had not seen her in years, and she looked completely different. The designer clothes were gone, replaced by a simple, worn-out dress. Her face was bare, without the elaborate makeup she used to wear. The same people who had just been trash-talking her were now awkwardly inviting her to sit down and have a bite to eat. Isabella just shook her head. "I am working in the kitchen here," she said. "I have to get back soon. Davis, I just wanted to tell you from the bottom of my heart that I am sorry." "There is no need," I said. "I was too selfish back then," she continued, her eyes turning red as tears welled up. She opened her mouth, struggling with the words. If I were willing to have a baby for you." "Do not make me laugh," I said, my voice cold. "And please have some dignity." Just then, one of her co-workers called out to her, saying her son was crying. Isabella rushed away. I found it impossible to reconcile this tired, beaten-down woman with the vibrant, defiant girl who had once sworn to me she would never have children. They were like two completely different people. For a moment, I felt a flicker of something, a distant memory. Then Emily ran up behind me, slightly out of breath. "Ugh, parking around here is impossible," she complained. "I should have just had my driver drop me off." She walked over and naturally linked her arm with mine. "What are you looking at so intently?" she asked with a smile. "I thought I saw Isabella over there a second ago." "It was nothing," I said. "Oh, by the way, your mom wanted me to tell you," Emily said. "She said Isabella stopped by the house again. Your mom gave the boy a gift, but she told Isabella not to come back. She said he is not a Miller, after all." "I understand," I said. Emily and I were together now. It was not an impulsive decision. For a long time, I thought I was done with love, but over the years, her companionship and her wonderful personality won me over. My parents adored her. I realized I could not stay trapped in the past forever. I had moved on. The past was the past, and it was time to let it go. After the reunion, Emily came home with me. My mom's health was much better, and Emily often took her out shopping or to see a movie. The two of them got along famously. Watching the two of them laughing together in the living room, a warmth spread through my chest. Maybe this was the life I had always wanted, a life filled with warmth and peace, not endless, exhausting arguments.